The U.S. Commerce Department reported last month that major corporations were extremely profitable in 2021. But a recent survey by Goldman Sachs finds 80% of small business owners say their business has suffered over the past 6 months due to record high inflation. The pandemic and the war in Ukraine have also been driving factors in rising costs. Small business owners say they are struggling to compete with large corporations. For more, I want to bring in CBS News reporter Sarah Ewall-Wice. Sarah, I know you have been covering this. First of all, how has inflation changed the way that small businesses operate in the U.S. compared to large organizations? And are these changes likely to subside in the future?
Hi, Elaine. I think whether these will subside in the future really depends on how long these soaring prices last. If inflation continues long term, it'll be hard to sustain. But what we do know from this survey is that a vast majority of small businesses are now feeling the pain of inflation after 2 years of challenges, first the pandemic and shutdowns, worker shortages. Now we have rising costs to contend with as well for our small businesses across the country. And when it comes to inflation, they've tried to combat it in multiple ways. One thing they're doing is they know that their workers need to be paid more money to deal with the rising prices when they're at home. So one thing they're offering is higher wages in some cases. Other things they're offering are higher wages to find more workers in other cases. But one thing that stood out to me is that about 60% of these small businesses said when they're offering higher wages or trying to entice workers with higher wages, they're passing those increases off to consumers. So the small businesses are feeling it and they're passing it on to consumers as well. What's probably very frustrating for many of these businesses and some that I spoke to is the fact that while they're trying to make ends meet here after 2 years of challenges, they're seeing the biggest corporations in the country having record profits. And one business owner told me she doesn't have those kind of profits. She can barely make ends meet. One thing that this same business owner told me is the energy costs, the rising energy costs are one of her biggest challenges. Her employees have to travel for work. It's a business that goes into clients' homes. And so one of the things she was trying to do was give out gas cards to her employees so that gas costs weren't eating into their wages. And then when that didn't work, she was one of the businesses that realized this was a long-term issue. So they changed their budgeting. They increased prices for services, and they gave their workers a raise to help contend with the challenges of rising gas prices and other costs across the board.
Yeah, well, in addition to inflation, you wrote about how small businesses are also facing a number of other challenges right now. What are some of those challenges?
Yeah, so we've been talking about this for some time, and the main issue that still is probably the biggest challenge, according to the survey for small businesses, is hiring and retaining qualified workers. We talked about the Great Resignation during this pandemic, and the recovery from the pandemic turns out is more of a great reshuffling as people go to jobs with higher wages. So these small businesses are dealing with a lot of issues. There's a record 11 million job openings across the country, and they're trying to compete for these workers. That means raising wages for one thing, but there are other issues at play here that small business really cannot contend with. Of course, paying workers more is great for the workers, but when it comes to these small businesses, the other real challenge is benefits. Big corporations can offer, even if they're only making small increases to wages, they can also offer benefit packages. And this is an issue that small businesses had before the pandemic, competing with big companies who can offer health care, who can offer child care and other benefits and retirement benefits that they can't. And so they're dealing with that challenge while trying to get these workers. And one business owner told me basically she's trying to bring someone in from corporate America to her small business. The person wants to go there. But when they did the math together, she found out she'd have to pay this person $12,000 more to cover the benefits that she would not have as a part of this tiny company as if she came over from corporate America. So that just goes to show they're trying to bring in workers as their biggest challenge, and they often just cannot compete.
So then how is it that they are coping, these entrepreneurs, and is that sustainable?
You know, it really depends. I mean, if they can't find workers and they keep offering higher wages, it really goes to the question of, well, how good is business going to continue to do? We also have the questions of uncertainty involving inflation. We don't really know how long it'll last. There's a lot of factors at play here with supply chain issues, with the war in Ukraine. So there's a lot of different things to contend with. Wages are one thing. We are seeing an increase of, they're trying to offer other perks, like I said, gas cards to try and get workers in the door. But it really is a challenge, and that becomes a question of how long is it sustainable, and right now we just don't know.
We know that small businesses are such a driver when it comes to the engine of the economy. So, Sarah, what about the federal government? What could the federal government do in order to level that playing field between small businesses and large corporations going forward?
Well, this was one of the interesting things, because the small businesses, as a part of this survey, the vast majority, more than 85%, said they want the federal government to do more to help level that playing field, to help them compete. As one person put it, they're not asking for a handout. They're just asking for help to set this playing field for them with these big companies. And so one of the things that they're calling on is for Congress specifically to do more. Congress, obviously, a lot of different players in the game there. And we have seen multiple proposals when it comes to benefits for childcare, making more childcare affordable, making healthcare more affordable, having healthcare options. And those are things that will help some of these smaller businesses compete, I'm told. It really becomes a question of, well, can any of that get through Congress? And that's on the benefits side of things. There are other things also that the federal government can do. Obviously, in terms of inflation, one factor in this is the Federal Reserve. They're the primary group of people. The Fed officials are the ones who are going to really address inflation short term, and that comes in the form of raising interest rates, kind of a funky thing to do, raise prices to lower prices. But that's one thing that we're going to see throughout the course of this year that'll help combat inflation. But then on the other hand, you have the federal government working to help with supply chain bottlenecks, working to deal with some of the other challenges that are help driving inflation, some of the gas costs that are increasing across the board. So there are a lot of different things that are a part of this. There's no real one fix all when it comes to helping small businesses. And I think it'll still take some time before we figure out what is the one thing that could help the most. Right now, there's just a lot of things going on that they're trying to contend with.
It sounds like a host of challenges that these small business owners are facing. All right. Sarah Ewall-Wice, Sarah, always good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, Elaine.